All right, guys, so this is where we stopped yesterday, I believe, right? Y equals x has a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 0. So to sketch this, we would start with y-intercept of 0, slope of 1. So from 0, we would rise 1, run 1, or whatever version of 1 you wanted to use. 2 over 2, 7 over 7, negative 3 over negative 3. Whatever you want to do there for your rise and run, as long as it's the same thing. We got a slope of positive 1, and our line looks like that. We differentiated this between the special cases like y equals 7. What kind of line is y equals 7?
Oh, the line.
It's a line. It's a horizontal line, right? Why is it horizontal? Because it's y equals a number, right? The Hoy-Vux that we looked at yesterday, y equals a number is horizontal, slope is 0. X equals negative 3. What kind of line is that? Vertical line, because it's x equals a number. Vux, VUX, undefined slope, vertical line, x equals a number. All those three things always go together. It's very important for you to remember that concept. Please believe me on this, okay? It's important. All right, today we're going to be writing equations of lines, and to write equations of lines, we have to talk about linear forms. All right? There's 3 linear forms. One of them is up here for you, point-slope form. What are the other 2? Slope-intercept form is another one. Not midpoint. That's something different. Somebody third period said the same thing. Anybody? Starts with an S. Are y'all sleepy today?
Yeah, extremely.
Come on now. Power through. Test Thursday. Today's the lesson. Make or break you. Discipline.
4.
It's the 4th quarter, right? All right. This point-slope form. The standard form equation of a line is ax plus by equals c. The slope-intercept, you don't need to write these now because we're going to talk about them individually. The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You guys are very familiar with that one. Pretty familiar with that one because you used it a lot in Algebra 1 and Geometry and Algebra 2 to write equations of lines. You've seen this a bunch. You just really don't know what you're looking at. You're not used to talking about standard form. These forms are important because they're all tested on the ACT. All right, you need to know the difference between these 3 forms. You're not going to get a perfect score on the math test at ACT unless you know these 3 questions, right? I could ask somebody that got a perfect score in math on the ACT, they would know all 3 forms of these lines just off the top of their head because they were taught them. All right, the point-slope form. I'm so proud of you. The point-slope form is, what is the point-slope form? We just mentioned it, right? It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You have to memorize this formula. You have to memorize it for the test on Thursday. You got to memorize it for your standardized tests that you have to take for whatever math purposes you're going to do. You're going to see this, okay? The point-slope form is primarily used for writing the equation of a line. Primarily. It can be used for graphing because we have a point. X1, Y1 is a point, and M is the slope. So if we have any point and we know the slope, then we can do rise and run from that point and get the rest of the line. All right. So you can use it for graphing. It's primarily used for writing the equation of a line. Okay. Now, if you forget, I got to show you this because this is pretty cool. If you forget this formula, it comes directly from this formula. What is this formula? Slope formula, right? It's kind of off-centered, but it works. If I turn this into a proportion and cross-multiply, what do I get? y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1. And that will give us the point slope formula. Right? So it comes directly from the slope formula, the point slope formula does. Okay? The only difference is that the slope formula requires 2 points, point 1 and point 2. The point slope formula only requires 1 point and the slope. Okay? All right, so that's where the point slope formula comes from. We derive it straight from the slope formula. Now, standard form of the equation of a line is ax plus by equals c. Ax plus by equals c. It's common form asked for on standardized testing. And here's the conditions that you have to be careful of with standard form. In this form, a, b, and c have to be integers. What does that mean? They have to be integers. What does that mean? Not. Integers are not, certainly not square roots unless it's a perfect square. They're not fractions or decimals. Integers. Not fractions or decimals. Whole numbers and their opposites. And a has to be positive, and the three can't have a common factor. In other words, they couldn't all be even. All right? I'll show you an example of this. A few things that fail. 2x squared, or 2x plus 4y equals 8. That kind of looks like ax plus by equals c, right? Which one of these qualifications does it fail?
Common.
It has a common factor, right? What's the common factor of all these things? 2. So really I need to divide everything by 2 to put this into standard form. That's standard form. Now, these are equivalent equations. They all have the same solutions, but standard form is a standardized form so that everybody everywhere comes up with the same answer. And that's why you see it a lot on standardized tests. Okay, the point slope form is not a standardized form. It's not unique. Every line with a slope of 2 that passes through 1 point, any point that you put in the point slope form is correct. So there's an infinite number of point slope form equations for a line. An infinite number of correct point slope form equations for a line. There's only one correct standard form equation for a line. It's thus standardized. The same is true for the slope intercept form, which you guys are really familiar with, right? Y equals mx plus b. That's what we dealt with in part 1 of this lesson. All right. Now, whenever our directions tell us to write the equation of a line, we are going to default to the point slope form. So we got to know the point slope formula. It's the form equation of a line that we're going to use to write equations of lines. So that's what we're doing today, is writing equations of lines using the point slope formula. Okay? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's the point slope formula because it uses a point and it uses a slope. There's our point and there's the slope. So that's always the two pieces of information that we're going to have to write the equation of a line, right? Repeat this or tell me the answer. What are the two pieces of information we have to write the equation of a line? A point and a slope. And we're going to use the point slope formula. Point slope is what I'm looking for always. We've got to be able to pull the point out of the problem. We've got to be able to pull the slope out of the problem. All right, so let's just dive right in. Write all three forms of the equation of the line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 3, 4. All right, as soon as you see the directions, write the equation of a line. What do I want you to write down?
Point slope.
The point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay? Point slope formula requires a point and a slope. Here's my point, here's my slope. So I'm going to put 4 right there for y. I'll put 3 right there for x. I'm going to put 2 right there for m. All right? And that's going to give me y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 3. Now the directions here said to write all three forms of the equation. I'm done with one, right? I can stop right there and circle that one because that is the point slope formula. All right. How would I change that into slope intercept? Multiply the 2. And that'll give me y minus 4 equals 2x minus 6. Y'all come on, power through. Power through. Add 4 to both sides. Y equals 2x minus 2. Slope intercept form. Okay. How would I put it into standard form? Remember standard form? Ax plus by equals c. A, b, and c are integers without a common factor, and a has to be positive. So if I subtract 2x, you get negative 2x plus y equals negative 2. And that's not standard form yet, right? Because everything has to be multiplied by negative 1. And there is standard form. Now, I'm not going to require you on every problem to give all three forms of the line, but you need to be able to provide the form of the line that is being asked for. Okay, I have seen the ACT ask you to write an equation of a line like this and put it in a certain form, and they have all three of these correct answers on there. So you got to know which form is which. It's an important skill. Okay, now it doesn't mean that you have to use a certain form. It's best to just master one process for writing the equation and then be able to change it from one form to the other. And that's why the point slope form is preferable, because it's the easiest form to change from one form to the other. If you had to put this standard form back into that, oof. Yeah, it's been at least 2 days since I've heard it. Okay, all right. I catch myself saying it all the time. I think I always did. I don't think I picked it up. It's just now I'm conscious of it. Oof. All right. Write the equation of a line that has a slope of negative 2/3 and passes through the point 6,1. Now, the directions here are missing something, right? They don't tell us what form to put the equation into. On your test, I'll be specific about your final answer should be in standard form, or your final answer should be in slope-intercept form. Okay? But anytime it says write the equation of a line, what's our default going to be? Point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. If you write this every time you use it in your homework tonight and in the lesson today, you'll have it memorized. You'll be ready for the test in that respect. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Our y1 and x1 come from the point, so we'll do y minus 1 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 6. What have I got there? That's point slope form. If I was asking for point slope form, you're done. Next. All right. Now, if I want it in standard form, let's put it in standard form. How would we put this in standard form? Every other form, we got to get rid of this parentheses, right? So distribute the negative 2/3, and that'll give us negative 2/3 x plus 4. All right, if I add 1 to both sides, I get negative 2/3 x plus 5. If I add 2/3 over here, then that'll give me 2/3 x plus y equals 5, and I'm almost there. That's not standard form because a, b, and c have to all be integers, right? So we got to get rid of fractions. Here's another useful skill. We're using the skill of getting rid of fractions in an equation. Multiply through by 3, we get 2x plus 3y equals 15. All right? Good? This is really, it's pretty easy. I'm hoping that you guys will, this is fresh enough and easy enough to kind of go with the more difficult things in this next test to help pad your grade. Yes, sir. All right. Write the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. What 2 pieces of information do we have to write the equation of a line? Slope and a point. All right? So if the directions say write the equation of a line, we're looking for those 2 pieces of information. Okay? We're good on points here, aren't we? What are we missing? Slope. Is that a problem? No, it's not, because we can use the 2 points to find the slope. Missing Tate today, huh? So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Slope is 1/2. All right. Now, remember a moment ago when I said that the point slope form is not unique? I could use either one of these points at this juncture. I could use this point or this point. Plug them in and get y. If I use the first point, y plus 1 equals 1/2 times x minus 4. If I use the other point, I get y plus 2 equals 1/2 times x minus 2. Which one of those is correct? Both of them are correct. Okay? So it would be uncommon for an equation or a question like this to be asking for the point slope form, because 2 different people could get 2 different correct answers, which is bad for multiple choice scenario, right? All right, so y plus 1 equals that. I don't know which one. This one uses the first point. Y plus 1 equals 1/2 times x minus 4. There's our point slope form. Let's just put the rest of them into slope intercept form and not worry with standard form. Just make sure you know standard form. Okay, distribute the 1/2 and we would get y plus 1 equals 1/2 x minus 2. Subtract 1 and we get y equals 1/2 x minus 3. All right. I think we got 2 more examples and a little larger than normal homework assignment. That's what you get for not having homework last night. Expected y'all to be more rested today, but my expectations are not met. I'll get some sleep. Mama said there'd be days like this. All right, next example. Try this one on your own. Try this one on your own. Write the equation of the line that passes through the points 5, -1, and 5, -6. All right, so everybody has, at this point, calculated the slope of the line, because we got to have a slope and a point. And we've determined that the slope of the line is undefined. All right. Okay? Undefined slope. That throws us into a special case. Which special case? Vux. Vertical lines have undefined slope. The equation is x equals a number. Vux. Okay? X equals a number. All right, this is where that Vux comes into play. What number does x have to equal in this problem? 5. The only value that we have for x is 5. So x equals 5 is the equation of the line. This is not an equation of a line. And I'm saying that out loud here, and somebody on the test, when I ask you to give me an equation of a line, you'll tell me the slope is undefined, or you'll write no solutions. No, it's not no solutions. No slope means it's a vertical line. Vertical lines have equations of x equals a number. So, Hoy Vux, extremely helpful in situations like this. If you get an undefined slope, it's x equals a number. It's vertical. If you have a vertical line, if I tell you the line is vertical through a point, if it's vertical, the equation is x equals a number. All right, so for example, a vertical line, not vertical, vertical. Go away. I got a pop-up screen here. I can't get to my thing. There we go. All right. So if I tell you that we have a vertical line through 6, -2. What's the equation? X equals 6. What's the slope? Undefined. They always go together. Vertical lines. X equals a number. Slope is undefined. Vux. All right? Live and die by it. All right? Last example. Write the equation of the line that has a slope of 2 and an x-intercept of 3. What two pieces of information are we always looking for if we have to write the equation of a line? A point and a slope. We got a slope given to us here, right? Do we have a point? Sure about that?
3.
What's the definition of the x-intercept? Where y equals 0. So we do have a point. It's 3, 0. So you have to make a connection between what it is. I will never give you an equation or a problem that doesn't have enough information. There's a slope there. There's a point there. You just have to take the information that you know and find the point and find the slope. All right? So we would use 3, 0. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's y minus 0 equals 2 times x minus 3. Y equals 2x minus 6. Okay? So the special cases and the ones with where you have to dig a little deeper, they're usually easier problems if you know your facts. All right, your homework is that. Now, it is more problems than normal. On these problems right here, 21, these that are underlined, the directions aren't given to you in the copy. On those, I want you to write the equation of the line. And just as kind of a default, put it in slope-intercept form, your final answer in slope-intercept form. But you need to be prepared to put it into standard form if asked for.